From Aviator DB, this is This Week in Aviation. I'm Mark.
And I'm Hope. Today is Friday, May 1st, 2026.
Coming up, a fatal Bonanza crash claims a North Dakota lawmaker. The NTSB cites corrosion in the Challenger 604 dual engine failure. And a CRJ 900 collides with a fire truck at LaGuardia.
We begin with a fatal accident at Crystal Airport in Minnesota.
A Beechcraft F-33A crashed into a park shortly after takeoff on April 25th, killing the pilot and North Dakota State Representative Liz Conmy. The aircraft, November 8032X, went down moments after departure from Crystal Airport northwest of Minneapolis.
NTSB data shows the aircraft reached 71 knots before descending. Controllers received what they described as a garbled transmission just before the crash.
This accident is part of a cluster of general aviation takeoff fatalities in late April. Weather conditions were clear at the time.
The NTSB has launched an investigation. Preliminary focus areas typically include engine performance, flight control issues, and pilot factors in takeoff phase accidents.
The crash tragically claimed the life of North Dakota State Representative Liz Conmy.
Takeoff phase accidents continue to be a focus area for general aviation safety.
Turning now to the NTSB's final report on last year's Challenger 604 crash, the board has determined that corrosion caused the dual engine failure that killed 2 pilots on Interstate 75.
The February 9, 2024 accident near Naples involved a Hoppajet Challenger with simultaneous failure of both GECF 34 engines on approach. The aircraft's off-airport landing on the interstate killed both pilots. 2 passengers and a cabin attendant survived and were evacuated.
The NTSB's final report, released between April the 24th and 27th, identifies corrosion in the engine's variable geometry systems as the cause of compressor stalls in both engines.
Investigators noted the engines had experienced prior hung starts, but standard troubleshooting did not identify the underlying corrosion issue.
GE has mandated inspections on 1,085 engines by March 2026. 2 additional engines with corrosion have already been found in the fleet.
The NTSB noted corrosion elements consistent with a marine environment, suggesting a possible link to coastal operations for this aircraft.
Dual-engine failures remain exceptionally rare in business aviation, making this finding particularly important for Challenger 604 operators worldwide.
Our third story involves a fatal runway collision at LaGuardia. The NTSB's preliminary report on the March Air Canada Express accident reveals multiple system failures.
The CRJ 900 collided with an airport rescue firefighting truck on the runway after landing, killing 2 pilots and injuring dozens of passengers. The preliminary report cites gaps in LaGuardia's safety systems.
The airport's ASDEX system failed to track the fire truck because it wasn't equipped with a transponder. Also, runway lights were extinguished seconds before impact.
2 pilots died in the collision. 39 people were hospitalized, with 6 sustaining serious injuries. 72 passengers were on board and all were evacuated from the aircraft, with 39 hospitalized.
Air traffic control had cleared vehicles to cross the runway. The NTSB notes human factors and procedural issues in their preliminary findings.
The absence of transponders on airport rescue and firefighting equipment shows a critical gap in ground vehicle tracking at major airports.
This fatal incursion highlights critical gaps in ground vehicle tracking at major airports, as noted in the NTSB preliminary findings.
Southwest Airlines experienced 2 significant 737 incidents in April. First, a heads-up display detached and struck the captain during takeoff from Las Vegas.
The April 8th incident on Southwest Flight 568 involved a Boeing 737, where the HUD struck the captain, causing a concussion. The first officer landed the aircraft safely. The flight was delayed 1.5 hours.
Later in April, Southwest Flight 975 experienced an engine surge on takeoff from Phoenix. Passengers reported a loud bang and flames from the engine.
The crew returned safely to Phoenix, where the fire was extinguished after landing. No injuries were reported in this incident.
The FAA is investigating both events. The HUD detachment represents a rare cockpit equipment failure during a high vibration phase of flight.
These incidents add to Southwest's recent operational challenges and may prompt fleet-wide inspections of 737 cockpit equipment mounting systems. Also in aviation news this week, Embraer reported a record $32.1 billion backlog, up 22% from last year. The Brazilian manufacturer's commercial aviation division saw a 50% surge, driven by Finnair's order for up to 46 E195 E2 aircraft. Separately, Embraer's urban air mobility subsidiary, Eve, closed a $230 million funding round through a dual listing, with shares trading at $4.85. The company delivered 44 aircraft in the first quarter, a 47% increase year over year.
Business aviation saw a historic safety improvement in the first quarter of 2026. Fatal accidents involving non-scheduled turbine aircraft dropped from 12 to 5 worldwide compared to the same period last year. Fatalities fell from 46 to 23. Notably, 18 runway excursions occurred with 0 fatalities. Safety analysts say this shows real improvement, not just random variation.
U.S. carriers are expanding international networks. Alaska Airlines launched its first European service this week with daily 787 flights from Seattle to Rome. ITA Airways began Rome to Houston service using A330neo aircraft 3 to 5 times weekly. American Airlines resumed Miami to Caracas operations after a 7-year suspension, operating daily E-175 flights. The Venezuela route reopening follows recent diplomatic shifts between the two nations.
And American Airlines. A 319 returned to Boston in late April after experiencing a spoiler disagree warning shortly after takeoff. The crew declared an emergency due to potential asymmetric deployment risks. The aircraft landed safely with no injuries reported. The FAA is investigating the flight control system fault.
TCAS collision avoidance systems prevented 2 potential incidents in April. Southwest Aircraft executed go-arounds at Nashville on April 18th, following resolution advisories. 2 days later, an American Eagle flight near New York responded to TCAS alerts, maintaining 500 feet minimum separation. All crews followed resolution advisories and landed safely at their destinations.
That's This Week in Aviation.
For the latest aviation news, visit aviatordb.com.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Hope. We'll see you next week.